Let's check the email. Let's check the messages.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Wow. Okay. I'm not going to go into huge details here because there aren't many. In the respect that all of you watching this are either friends of mine on YouTube, friends of mine on Facebook, subscribers of mine, or just people who know me. And those of you that know me know that there's one thing that I hold dear in this world. For some people, it's their kids. For some people, it's, I don't know, photography. For some people, hobbies go on sports. Some people know all of the players on the Red Sox and the Patriots and the Bruins. I know that there are teams. I don't know everything. The one thing that I hold most dear is my knowledge of the Terminator franchise and the fact that it is my favorite movie, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, that is. But on the whole, the first three films are respectable, hold true to the original format for the most part, and at least for the first two films, will go down in cinema history as being unforgettable, irreplaceable. Hell, the first film is in the Library of Congress. It's being preserved because it's culturally and historically significant. How badass is that? So I'm on Facebook when I get home from work. I'm tired. Working for the post office in the summertime, it can be draining. Of course, let's not forget about the fire that happened a month ago this week. That's always in the back of my mind, so things have not been very good recently. Anyway, I have learned from various different sources that have been emailed to me by friends, people that have just messaged me on YouTube, and on my own account, on my own accord, that Terminator 5 is set to be released sometime in 2015, and it is going to be a reboot. Not an extension of Salvation, which, as bad as it was, at least it was set in the future war, at least it was different. It didn't involve time traveling Terminators trying to kill John Connor. Not a film directed by James Cameron, not even an extension of Terminator 3. It's going to be a reboot. It's going to be its own film, according to every source that I've read. It's going to be its own film, the first of a new trilogy, and the first film is going to be a standalone film. Basically, if nothing comes of this film, like if it's bad, it'll just be on its own. But it'll pave the way for a trilogy if it's good. I'm kind of a little lost for words. Um, like I said before, Terminator 1 and 2 are, I don't care who you are, if you haven't seen it, go see it. I mean, everybody who's anybody who's a film critic, who studies film, who appreciates the 90s, 80s, science fiction action movies knows that the first two Terminators are set in stone. Now, the sequels were not as popular, they weren't as well received, and they technically didn't make more money. If you really don't count inflation, if you keep the prices the same across the board, Terminator 2 made more money. I think it is. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but to say that you're going to be rebooting this, no, no, that's like saying you're gonna reboot Jaws. Why would you reboot Jaws? You can't have the same feeling that Jaws had. That's like saying you're gonna reboot Back to the Future, which they probably will, but it's the fact that you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, James Cameron directed it, Michael Biehn, Brad Fiedel score. I mean, everything about the first. Let's just talk about the first Terminator, not even Terminator 2, because it's really, if you're going to reboot the series, you kind of need to start where the first Terminator was. Um, the 80s, I mean, the way technology was back then. Technology was booming. Technology, every other week, something new came out. Oh, that was back in the day where compact laser discs were becoming popular. Um, to reboot the Terminator franchise, I don't think you can do it. Look at the reboots that have come out with recently. Look at Total Recall. Total Recall was a piece of shit. Yes, it had beautiful CG. Very good CG. I loved the CG. The soundtrack, pretty solid, but the story and the plot and the acting and the writing sucked. And that's my biggest fear, is that they're going to reboot the Terminator franchise and have whoever play the Terminator, whoever play John or whoever plays Sarah, whoever plays Silverman, I I'm just really worried that this reboot is going to end up like the other failed reboots, Aliens versus Predator Requiem, which is kind of a reboot. But Total Recall is a prime example. Doom, sorry, not Doom. Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd, you can kind of not call a reboot. You can kind of say it was another movie based on the graphic novel, kind of like Terminator 3 and even Terminator Salvation were sequels and or prequels and or you could look at Terminator Salvation as a prequel, by the way, or just more films revolving the mythos. Arnold Schwarzenegger has continuously said that he's going to be in the movie. I don't see how. Like I said in my previous video, it would be interesting to see him as him, maybe a couple of years younger, unfortunately, but him as him, maybe a battlefield commando or somebody that's important in the resistance gets captured and he has the frame and the mask to say it, and the Skynet goes, okay, this guy would be perfect for camouflage for the T-800 series, and he would basically be the blueprints from Model 101 or Uncle Bob from Terminator 2. Um, maybe Robert Patrick goes in there and they base the T-1000 off of him. But there's just so much flowing through my mind. I never thought this would be possible. I mean, Jaws, Back to the Future, Terminator 2, or The Terminator. That's like, I mean, does Hollywood really not have any more fucking ideas? They really have to go and reboot the Terminator series. Uh, no. And again, this information just came out today or this week. Do I know everything about it? No. Will there be more details? Yes. This may shape up to be good for the Terminator franchise. To be honest with you, I did not like Salvation, as most of you know. So some new blood would be nice, but I just wish they weren't going to be rebooting it completely. Build off of what you have. That's what Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation failed to do. You have so much oomph, everything, power, knowledge, reviews, all this stuff that Terminator 1 and 2 had that you could have built off of, and they failed. They dropped the ball. They didn't drop the ball in every case. Terminator 3 especially was a halfway decent film, and the ending really saved it. But Salvation, and for the most part, Terminator 3, didn't build on what the previous films had, so who would you pick to play the Terminator? Honestly, I mean, it's like picking someone to play Doc Brown, or picking somebody to play Quint. There is nobody on the face of the earth right now or in the future that will ever play those roles with as much charisma, with as much just soul as those characters. And there's many other actors and characters that go hand in hand. Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator is one of them. It's the role that defined his presence in Hollywood, and he will forever be remembered. Before Governor, before Commando, before Conan, he will always be remembered as the Terminator. So let's see who they pick to, star. Also, who's going to direct it? Also, who's going to write it? That's my problem with Terminator Salvation, is the writing in that movie sucked. But anyway, this video's gone on longer than I wanted it to. Am I happy about this news? No. Am I excited about this news? No. I'm kind of just like, really? Really? You're going to make another Terminator film? Okay, fine. Oh, it's going to be a reboot. No. Switching CPU to alternate power supply. Have a good night, guys. God damn it.